Good morning, my beautiful people. Happy Monday. Let's hope that it goes by fast, right? So, somebody had messaged me in my DMs and they said they have some basically trauma from like therapy or counseling or just like talking to a therapist, which I've had my fair share of like really bad therapists. And it's hard to find somebody that you vibe with and somebody that you could talk to that isn't just gonna kind of write you off. But the thing about like healthcare now is that you could do a bunch of stuff online. And I think that's a lot easier than like trying to go to different like doctors' facilities and try and find a therapist or somebody to talk to. Um, like Better Health or whatever has different therapists and different doctors that you can get in contact with so that they can I don't know, help you out with your medical journey, whether that be like depression, anxiety, transitioning. But every surgery or every stage of your transition is going to demand that you are seeing an active therapist. So you want to make sure that you're making the best decision for yourself. And I personally think that therapy is really helpful if you could find the right person. And for me, I've been to the same therapist my whole life basically, and so it was easy to find the first one. But they also have like a just like an evaluating like outside perspective to diagnose you as well when you're doing like bottom surgery or even top surgery. Sometimes I think I only needed one for my top surgery, but for my bottom surgery I had to talk to another therapist that didn't really know me, that could just like listen to my story and evaluate me and make sure that I was making the right decision. And I think that that's important. Like I don't think that that's really much of a burden, because the more sure you are about the way that you transition, the happier you're going to be. Like a lot of people don't feel the need to get bottom surgery, and that's okay. Like bottom surgery does not make or break your transition. And I think that like in outside of the community, that is something that like doesn't make sense to them. Like why would you transition but you're not going to get bottom surgery? There's a lot of risks that come with getting bottom surgery or even top surgery sometimes, you know what I mean? So like if you don't need it to transition, then why would you get it, you know? And a lot of other people outside the community can't grasp that opinion. But I think that like throughout your transition, throughout anything really, like you're going to be faced with things that trigger your trauma or that challenge you to get over certain traumas or put you in uncomfortable situations where you have to just kind of power through it. Like talking to a therapist or talking to somebody about how you feel can be like really traumatizing to some people that haven't had good experiences. But it's something that I think is necessary for you to like understand your feelings, understand where you are as far as like your journey and what you want out of your journey, because it looks different for everybody. Like I knew the minute that I accepted that I was going to transition, I knew that I was going to get bottom surgery, because my dysphoria, like I'm the type of person that like if I ignore something long enough, like it's not going to be at the forefront of my mind. But the minute that I accepted the fact that like I'm trans and I need to do this, like my bottom dysphoria came like full force. So it was something that I knew that I needed. And like talking to a counselor or a therapist like reassured me of that. You know what I mean? And they can also point you in directions that like maybe if you're stuck in your transition that they could help you with, and like in your area, like who to find to do a mastectomy or a hysterectomy, or like I was appointed to like the only hormone therapist in my area by my counselor, because she was in that community and I wouldn't have known where to look, you know what I mean? So, and they also like she gave me a whole packet of how to like legally change my name and how to legally transition. And that was really helpful because like you do all of this and then you get to a certain point and you're like, well, what now? How do I go about continuing my transition? Because like nobody really knows that like if you're going to change your name and gender, you have to go to where you were born and get that birth certificate and do everything in that like county that you were born in. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have known that I couldn't move and do all of this in a different state. Maybe that's just because I have never really done like legal paperwork in that aspect, but I think that sometimes our fears are irrational. I've talked to so many people that are like, I will never go to therapy. And it's like, you probably should. Like, regardless of how you, what you think about like yourself or like therapy in general, it's helpful. It's something that like, even if you know it, like just saying and admitting some things to yourself can really like lift weights off of your chest and your back that you didn't even know that you had. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I went to, I did online therapy. Well, not online. I just called her. Like, and I had a phone appointment. I didn't have to go and see a second therapist. And she was able to write me up a letter and send it to me. And even now, if I want to call my therapist, I set up an appointment and I talk to her on the phone. I don't have to go anywhere. And I think that like COVID kind of opened that door to a like wider time frame. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you got to come in, but like you can just call somebody. And it's really easy if you have anxiety like that, or like I said, Better Health or whatever. I think that you can like text them. But I don't know how efficient that's going to be in as far as like getting pre-approval letters for top surgery or anything like that. I love you guys. I hope that you have a great Monday, and I will talk to you later, okay? Bye.